Hey guys, I want to share something really important with you guys today. It's a thought I've had that has really helped me to be more positive about my entrepreneurial journey. And what this is that you need to stop comparing yourself to millionaires. And the reason for this is that when you compare yourself to millionaires, it makes you feel very inadequate. And it's human nature to focus on the gap between where you are and where this person is that you're comparing yourself to. And what makes it worse is that in entrepreneurship, oftentimes these millionaires are very young people. They could be only a few years older than you, they could be your age, or they could even be younger than you. And that makes you feel so inadequate. You feel as though they've done so well and they've done it in such a short amount of time. And then you look at your progress and you think you're doing something wrong. You think that maybe you're not cut out for this type of thing. Maybe you should just go back and get a job. Or maybe you just kind of feel generally disheartened with the whole pursuing your own mission in entrepreneurship path. And there's a few reasons why you shouldn't only compare yourself with these people at the very top. So what spurred this thought for me is that I was watching today a couple of website of people that are in a local men's development group here in Vancouver, and I was blown away by actually the quality of their content and how phenomenal they really were. So they were in the areas of business coaching, entrepreneurship, men's confidence coaching, and things like that. And most of these were not your Gary Vaynerchuk's or Grant Cardone's worth several of millions, or even a lot of them probably weren't even worth 1 million, but their content was really good. And I sort of sat back and realized that I was really impressed with the life that these people had carved out for themselves, and that they were still every day able to have the freedom of not having a boss, and was able to make a good enough income from what they were doing, what they're passionate about. And I sort of almost felt guilty about how I always felt so inadequate that I haven't made my millions yet, or that I'm not having private jets yet, or traveling the world yet. And what I realized is that I need to actually appreciate how far I've come, because it's actually so cool that, I'm even able to just survive living in a beautiful city like Vancouver without having a job, even though, I'm not making a ton of money. So a couple problems. So I'm going to break it down. There's two misconceptions about why you should not compare yourself to people at the very top. The first is that think about how many people there are in the world. There's 7 billion people in the world. And now make a list of how many people are at the top, these internet entrepreneurs that you compare yourself to. I'm willing to bet the list is maybe between 10 to 100 people. So if you look at that on a percentage basis, I probably can't do all this math in my head, but let's just say there's 100 people that you really admire. What is 100 as a percentage that goes into 7 billion? I literally can't do the math in my head, but it's like 0.00001%, It's, well actually, so it would be I think it would be 1 in 70,000. Sorry, 1 in 70 million. So if you have 100 entrepreneurs that you really admire out of a population of 7 billion people, I believe you're looking at people that are in the 1 out of 70 million statistical level. And just think about what that means. 1 out of 70 million, 1% is 1 out of 100. 0.1%, which is already very high up, is 1 out of 1,000. When people on Occupy Wall Street talk about the 1%, they're talking about the top 1 out of 100. And you're comparing yourself to the top 1 out of 70 million. So just think about it. Maybe not everyone can get to the level of being in the top 1 out of 70 million. Maybe you can only get to being in the level of, let's say, the top 0.001%, which still is absolutely incredible and something you should be extremely proud of. So the point I'm trying to make here is that just appreciate the sheer statistical improbability of people making it as far as the Gary Vaynerchuks, the Grant Cardone, the Ty Lopez, and realize the survivorship bias. So many people have tried, so many people have failed, and you don't hear about the failures because by definition, they failed, so their social media and their posts are no longer out there. It's only that 1 in 70 million that has made it all the way that you hear about, and then that becomes this idea of what's normal in your mind. And then think about how crazy it is. You're sitting at your desk thinking, man, I'm so upset that I'm not at the level of the top 1 out of 70 million yet. What's going on? What's wrong? What's wrong with me? And that's just insane. That's insane. So a concept I like to think about is, let's just say maybe I'm not cut out to be in the top 1 out of 70 million. Maybe I'm just a sort of 1 out of every 10,000 kind of guy. I mean, that is still an absolutely phenomenal lifestyle, all the freedom that I really need, enough money to do what I want with. And just, it's kind of hard to exactly express what I'm trying to say, but just put that in perspective. Realize that those people you admire are literally just so rare, and it's okay if you don't quite get there. If you get even halfway there, even a quarter of the way there, your life is going to be like so much more rewarding and value filled than everyone you grew up with, everyone in your high school, everyone in a university, etc. Now, at the same time, I'm not saying don't keep hustling forever. You can always keep trying to get to the absolute very top, and I suggest you do. But just don't get discouraged when you're not getting there as fast as you can. And if, let's say, you only amass maybe 10% of the wealth of a guy like Gary Vaynerchuk, you should still be pretty damn happy with that. So that's the first point. The second point is to do with the timeline. Oftentimes we see these young entrepreneurs, 25, 26, 27, maybe even younger, who have millions of dollars. And you might look at yourself and be like, man, I've been trying to build this business for a whole year or for a whole 2 years, and my income is like $1,000, $2,000 a month. And what you have to remember, and I'm sure you guys do know this, but I often forget it, is really entrepreneurship is not linear like a job. It is exponential. So you could be going along, 2,000 a month, 2,000 a month, 2,000 a month, and then finally something clicks and you get a sales funnel that works a little bit better. You get a client acquisition method that works. Maybe you refine your targeting, and then all of a sudden you go to, you can get up to 10,000 a month in 2 or 3 months, just like that. And you never know when that's going to happen. And you also never know when that happened for these people that you follow. So again, remember that a lot of the times you're just scraping along the bottom, and then all of a sudden you will pick up. And remember that when you look at these guys at the very top, they're literally the top 1 out of 70 million people. So stop feeling inadequate if you're not quite there yet. And thirdly is just appreciate the fact that if you're in this community, if you're a part of this world where you're actually taking some action to start a business, where you're actually showing up, maybe you're making YouTube videos, etc., appreciate what you have done. I mean, I could look at I have like 430 or so subscribers on this YouTube channel right now. I could look at that and then look at someone who has 1 million and think, wow, like, who even cares about the 430? Or I could look at the fact that even with 430 YouTube subscribers, I have amassed more success on YouTube than probably like 99% of the YouTube channels out there. If you go through the channels that are subscribed to you, most of them are like 1 subscriber, 5 subscribers, 3 subscribers, 10 subscribers. Like the vast majority are under 15 subscribers. So even to get like a couple hundred subscribers is a cool accomplishment. Now, there's a fine line. I'm not saying be complacent. I'm going to keep hustling as hard as I can to build my business as big as it can and do everything I do to the best of my abilities. But I'm also going to be happy, realistic, and appreciate how far I have come. And I'm not going to only compare myself to the top level of people. I think actually, people have said kind of do the 33%, 33%, 33% rule. Spend 1/3 of your time relating to people that are above you, 1/3 of your time relating to people on your level, and then 1/3 of your time relating to people that are kind of below your level. And I think that's actually a pretty good piece of advice because it gives you perspective while still allowing you to strive for the top. I know from myself, I have a tendency to basically spend 90% of my time comparing myself to the very top, which just leads to me feeling more disappointed. Anyways, that's all for today, guys. Sorry I did miss a couple days in this daily vlog series, but I'm back at it. So if you like this type of content, please comment, subscribe, and give me a like. Till next time.